to Tango. Just want to say a few things. Like, I know that I'm not as destined as Harry Potter. I know that I'm not Superman. I know that I'm not a savior like Yeshua, but I know that I am in trouble. I know that I'm not as destined as Harry Potter. I know that I'm not Superman. I know that I'm not a savior like Yeshua, but I know that I am in trouble. 'Cause I love you. With you I found something true. My sunshine, you make my gray skies blue. With you I found something true. My sunshine, you make my gray skies blue. You're my miracle. My miracle. You're my miracle, yeah. My miracle, yeah, yeah. And yes, I love you. Our love is the music that connects us to God. We're standing weightless. Eyes into mine, all our soul is one. With you I found something true. My sunshine, you make my gray skies blue. Miracle. Yeah. Wait, hold on. I'm ready when you're ready. Hi guys, my name is LJ, and you're welcome to the Tango Experience. I'm just here to serenade you. Enjoy. Soon as I saw you, babe, I knew that you were the one. I've got to have you, baby, just for me all alone. You look so beautiful, like an angel from above. Yeah, take my hand now, come and be mine forever, love. 'Cause I will love you, I will place place no one above you. Like the air I breathe, I'll cherish you all my life. Day and night pass away, girl, my love remains the same. Till the end of time, I love you forever long. My heart is all yours, just fill me up with your love. The way you shine, baby, the stars got nothing on you. Yeah, I'll be your Superman, babe. I'll pick you up when you're down, down, down. Hand in hand now, 'cause you are mine forever, love. 'Cause I will love you, I will place no one above you. Like the air I breathe, I'll cherish you all my life. Day and night pass away, girl, my love remains the same. Till the end of time, I love you forever long. So would you be my only sugar honey lover? Would you be my only sugar honey love? I will love you, I will place no one above you. Like the air I breathe, I'll cherish you all my life. Day and night pass away, girl, my love remains the same. Till the end of time, I love you forever long. Would you be my only sugar honey lover? Would you be my only sugar honey love? Thank you.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi,
hello,
guys.
Hello, hello. Hi.
Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check.
Mic check. Hello. Mic check.
Mic check.
So, Pastor, me, can I go?
Mic check.
Can I go? Hi, guys. Good evening. Welcome to the Tango Experience. And we're here live, waiting for the show to begin. We hope that you have a good time. Promises to be an insightful moment. We have the speakers lined up for today and tomorrow. I want you to keep your fingers crossed, get your pens and paper nearby, take notes, ask as much questions as you have. We do hope that you have an insightful time here today, and we hope that we would have a swell time and an engaging moment together. So, what do I say now? Welcome to the Tango Experience. See you.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Tango Show. My name is Tommy Victoria Lawal, and with me is...
John.
Okay, welcome everybody. This is the Tango Show. It's a annual show at the Star Hub. Yes, this is Star Hub, the youth expression of Daystar Christian Center. And today we have exciting topics. We have our speaker, Praise for Warware, in the building. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, guys. Good evening, audience. So good to be here.
Welcome, sir. Yes, so this evening we're going to be talking about something, a topic very exciting, a topic that a lot of us like to talk about, sometimes don't like to talk about, which is sex and the honey drip. Yes, sex, we said it. Okay, sir. So we understand that you are the family life therapist, and then you many times talk about relationship, sex. You can actually give us an insight into the topic for tonight. So can you just introduce sex and the honey drip?
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I would rather have you ask me questions because if you ask me to talk about sex, there are so many sides to it. You want me to talk about sex and young people. I always say to people, the best message is my life. And the fact that I was a wreck as a teenager, and I got saved maybe as I was living my teenage years. I mean, think about it, how sex was introduced to me at the age of 4.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was more or less what you would call the rape situation, and that went on for like 4 years. When I was 8, another person took over till I was 12, and became a sex addict at 14. You know, sex was like a daily thing. You know, totally lost control of myself, lost control of my self-esteem, and all. And I think it was when I was in part 3 in the university, no, part 2, got saved, and nobody talked about sex in church. You know, so unlike the life I lived as an unbeliever, where you could have sex and talk about it because you go clubbing and talking with your friends, you know, I mean, it was like a conquest. In church, I was still having urges, I was having struggles, but nobody could talk about it. And so I got into church, and I'll go to this sneak back to the club, and I'll see, you know, people led praise and worship, you know, also, you know, in there. So I felt everybody was pretending and all, you know. I joined the choir. I could play all the instruments. I was singing, and until I was going to become the music director, and there were 82 ladies in choir. So for the first time, I knew I needed to take responsibilities for my life, and I started fasting and waiting on the Lord. And for like 18 days, I remember. And I remember that on the 18th day, he said to me, that was the first time I would really hear God audibly, and he said, go and share what I had was this, go and share your sex testimony. And I knew that wasn't an English word, so I said, what's the sex testimony? He said, it's a testimony of your sex life. And I said, well, I don't have any testimony. You know, and my fellowship was a very strict fellowship where you couldn't even talk that you couldn't talk about having crushes or anything. You know, you couldn't talk about you kissed a girl. You know, it was like very strict. You know, so but the Lord said, go ahead and talk about it. So I said to him, but if I said talk about this thing, I wasn't going to be made a leader again. So he asked me, would you rather lead in the future and forget about leadership now? So it was a meeting day, and you know, everyone was there. And so the leader asked if anyone had something to say. So I lifted my hands, and people started clapping, because every time I'd come out like that, it was to do a special number. So they thought I was coming to do a special number. So reluctantly, I went forward and began to share my struggles with pornography, with masturbation, with sex, and all. And I felt a weight left me that period, you know, and that night, my room was packed. People I never knew had issues. You know, everyone came to share. You know, and that was when I started helping people. I started looking for solutions myself. You know, so that's been my journey. Maybe that will help break the ice. And so I'm a bit more passionate about answering questions along this line, because, I mean, I see a whole lot of people there. They just condemn people. They don't know the story. You know, you don't know where people are coming from. You know, so even when it looks like they are deviant, you don't know that they're running away from something and they're running into that thing. You know, so you want to show a lot of love, a lot of care, and an understanding heart to listen to them and understand what they're dealing with, so that you can now walk with them through healing, which is basically what we do, in therapy, to say we listen to you without judgment, and we help you overcome whatever trauma, whatever pain you're going through.
Thanks, sir. That intro was powerful. Yeah. So one of the things we intend to do tonight is, delve into, like you said, the places where the church generally will not go to. So we all know no sex before marriage.
Yeah.
But now the question we want to start with is, when does sex start? Because purity, well, yeah, you're pure, but then you're doing some things you don't know. It's the same question as how far is too far, but we're not saying how far is too far. We're saying, when does it really start?
Okay, sex starts from the mind. It's not, people ask me all these questions all the time to say, hey, does it start with kissing? It's sex penetration. Then I ask them, if you don't want to go to Abuja, but you boarded the bus going to Abuja, and you are not in Lokoja, is Lokoja part of the journey to the destination? It's part of the destination. And, because this is a show that we need to say the way it is. I always say to people that the moment you guys begin to connect and you begin to grind and do stuff, the first thing that you will notice, because we have to, and pardon me, because I'm just going to call penis what penis is. It has no spiritual name and whatever, the dick. What you see almost immediately is that there's erection. And once erection points you to define our destination from the get-go. But oftentimes we overlook it, and there are territories. It's like bus stops when you're going to Abuja. You get to Ibadan, from Ibadan to Ore, from Ore to, Olokoja. It's the part of the journey you get. So with every conquest, you move to the next level. You move to the next level. So if she conquered your lips, he's gonna come for your breast. And if he conquers that, he's gonna go for something else. Then it goes down, and you don't know that your resistance has been broken, and eventually it happens, and you say, you didn't know when it happened. No, it was when it started. And that's why the most important sex organ we have is our mind, not even the genital. And that's why Bible talks about guarding your heart with all diligence, because in fact, the standard of Jesus is the mind. That if you have done it in your mind, you've done it. Because things are created twice, first within and without. So there is something we call voyeurism. Voyeurism is mind sex. So you have lots of people, and that's why the concept of virginity again comes into place. They think it's a lady with a hymen that is a virgin. Not necessarily, because there are people who I've met people with intact hymen who perform blowjobbing. So how do you classify that? There are people who practice voyeurism. Voyeurism is mind sex, fetishism, and exhibitionism, all kinds of sexual perversion, but hymen is intact. So that's why Jesus went a little bit deeper to say it's about your mind. So it's the mind, and that's why if you walk on the mind, then you don't have to bother about the other aspects. So Bible says, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of its flows the issue of life. So when you stuff porn into your mind, then your body naturally begins to long for the things your mind are saying. And a lot of people need to understand that, you see, your mind actually controls your life, right? That if your mind is a mess, your body is a slave that activates what your mind is already, So it's the battle is in the mind. That if I look at a lady, and I remember there were so many things I did, when I was in recovery. I remember that I had to redefine a lot of things. So I found, and I knew that your definition of thing defined how you use that thing. So I had to redefine sex, because sex was a problem for me. I redefined sex, and I said, I defined it as a covenant exchange of life and love between the man and the woman in the marriage environment for the purpose of unity, procreation, and expression of love. Then I redefined those days. When I was going to school, I'll see a lady's boobs, and my mind would just shut down, and in my mind, take her to the bedroom. So I knew that I need to find a definition for these breasts. So I remember I had to go and look for a physiologist. Physiologists are people who study the human body. To say, what exactly is in the female breast? And the guy said that you have the milk duct, I thought I would hear something sex duct,
Yes,
said
yes.
milk duct, which is the milk producing gland.
Yeah.
Then they talked about the milk duct, the milk lobule, which is the part of the breast that transfers the milk from the lobule to the nipple. Then they talked about connective and fatty tissues. So the guy said to me, Praise, the only breast that will give you breast milk is your mother's breast, and at your age is already too late. So I remember I went to my room and I said, okay, what definition would I give breast in a way that will govern my behavior? Because let me tell you, if your definition of this is food or something, if you give this to a 6-month-old baby, he's going to put it in his mouth. So at the end of the day, you are the owner of your definition. So what I did then was to redefine it, and I said, okay, is the milk production factory of the female with a specialized consumer, wherein the consumer is an infant. So I'll say to myself, I'm a big boy, big boys don't suck breast and things like that. So that was my definition that helped me.
Wow.
So I had to redefine every reproductive part.
Wow.
Right. So it's in your mind. And the moment I retrained my mind to think in a particular way, I realized that my body suddenly followed. Right. So again, that's why we say nothing means anything except the meaning you attach to it. So the meaning you have attached to it is what governs your behavior. Right. So if you align your meaning with scriptures, then it will govern your behavior. It's like garbage in, garbage out,
Sure.
It's all about your mind. And if you've started in your mind, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time.
Oh, wow. So guys, it starts in the mind. So according to tonight's definition, I wish I could,
I've almost forgotten those definitions right now until you guys asked me,
Yeah, those are very powerful definitions. Maybe you still write them down for us. So, I love the definition aspect. Yeah, I loved that. So now let's talk about sexual purity, because we talked that. Why? We've heard don't, right?
Yeah.
But now we want to know why.
Well, you see, when we talk about sexual purity, you first have to look at purity. What's purity? So this is water. This is pure.
Yes.
Right? So in your mind, imagine if we had Coca-Cola to this. So this water, what does it become?
It's a mixed water.
Now if we had beer to it, what does it become?
It's a mixture of 3 substances.
If we had, let's say, dry gin to it.
All four in one bottle.
In one bottle.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Stop
the
saying water.
easiest way to describe this.
Wow.
Now, I believe that what God was gunning at when he says don't do this is because he doesn't want you to get into marriage with all kinds of messed up memories.
Wow.
And also, if you don't have a basis for comparison, right, faithfulness becomes easier.
Sure.
Right? I know the battles I face, the fact that you have all kinds of, and you say the mind is such that whatever's happened in your past, you can't undo it. It's stored somewhere. So it pops up, at times that you don't. So you have to do a lot of work to bind your mind and hold your mind. That was needless. I mean, think about someone. I mean, I see guys sometimes who have never had that experience that I've had. And they look all together. For a long time, I couldn't hold hands with another lady.
Wow.
I'm in my mind, I'm thinking, what does she want from me? What do I want? What am I going to do? Can I sit with her? That's a battle going on in your mind. So imagine if I had no experience, I had no past, I had no memories of those kind of things. So I believe it's much more about your interest. To say God wants you to be whole. And wholesomeness is about being focused, it's about, you have a whole lot of more things to focus on than this. Right? Because if you don't add sex into the equation, imagine what you can do. So you're like, you are focused, we say focus creates blindness. So as you're a young person, your energy is focused on maybe creating an app or doing something. You are moving in the direction, you will arrive there faster than when you are thinking about, oh, what babe, you getting on the porn side. And the porn side, porn does not teach people to do sex better.
Oh, wow.
The goal of porn is to sell porn. And what porn does is porn makes sex becomes athletic and it breeds comparison. Forgetting that the guys who act porn, many of them are on drugs and it's acting. So it gives you a perspective that is not totally correct. That when you now get married, your wife is not mourning and, like the lady, you begin to think something is wrong in here. So Imagine if you didn't see all those things. Imagine if you had a pure mind.
Wow.
Right? You're going to come into marriage and you're marrying someone who doesn't have that experience as well.
Yes.
You're coming into marriage to explore, to learn together, to be together, because there's no basis for comparison.
Yes.
I believe that's one of the core reasons. It's not to kill your joy or to stop you from living your life. It's to protect you. I mean, I've been on the other side. I've been here, so I know the difference. And I can tell you the difference. That it's always almost not the same, except God now helps you. That there are battles you begin to fight in your mind that was needless, if you didn't get into some things or you didn't see certain things. For example, if you have never seen a skyscraper before in your life, you won't miss a skyscraper. You won't miss it.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But the moment you see one, right, you begin to long for, I want to be, I just got on the elevator, so then why should I climb the staircase? Well, let me get it.
Sure.
You begin to miss it. You begin
Have
to,
an experience now.
then you begin to condemn something else to say, why is, you used to be in the village, you were comfortable,
Yes.
but now you've gone to Lagos, you've gone to, a 15th floor building, you've used the elevator. By the time you get back to the village, you begin to look at everyone, they now look like early men. You begin to
Sorry to cut you. It's like when you drive a new car.
Yeah.
And then you start seeing the car everywhere, and then the one you're in seems like old drag or
What's
something.
this?
And
This is why
Wow.
I believe that purity is very important, and I think it's to protect you.
It's to protect
It's to
you.
protect you. And
protect you.
I know it's pretty much tough
Yeah.
in your generation. I don't have. When people say, "Oh, this generation, this Sorosuke generation, they are very bad and blah 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 blah," I say to them, "No, you guys didn't fight the battles these guys are fighting. We didn't have internet.
we
didn't
had
have.
a lot of battles.
You didn't have those distractions. Yeah, we had what looked like fun."
Yes.
There was a magazine in my generation called Naxin, Dowda the Sexy Guy. The baddest guys I've read about, but you have to, get it. But you
Yes.
guys on your phone, everything
Everywhere.
pop up.
Everywhere.
So I
Everywhere.
do not,
Everywhere.
so when people want to condemn your generation, I do
Yeah.
not join them. I say you don't understand the battles these guys are fighting.
Sure.
If we grew up in this generation, I don't know how many of us would have survived.
Yeah.
But so when you find people who are still keeping it real in your generation, we need to
Yes.
applaud them and say, wow,
Yeah.
you guys are
Right.
trying,
Yes,
and that's something we need to understand. Every generation with different battles, but the
Battles,
strategy has got to be different. But in all, the word of God, stands firm
Yeah.
in all of this,
Yeah.
right? To say, you know what? Create a new strategy to guard your heart with all diligence. Police your
sir.
mind.
Okay, sir. So before you go deep into that, so there's this question that a lot of us, need answers to. So it's, as a Christian, is it a sin to feel horny? Am I allowed to?
It's like saying, are you allowed to
Can you
breathe?
demystify?
Oh.
Are you allowed to breathe? You're allowed to breathe. I say to people, and I'll explain. I'll be very practical.
Yes.
A thought
This is interesting.
is not a sin until it is given a thought.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll explain how it happened to me.
Yeah.
Yes,
Sure.
sir.
So when I was in school, after I got saved, I'll be going to school and I'll see a lady with a big back side.
Yeah.
And in fact, sometimes in the fellowship, in church, they are dancing praise and worship, and my mind has moved out to the bedroom. Then I'll start, it's almost unconscious. Then I'll start asking God, forgive me, I've sinned again.
Yes.
So I got worried, and I met my friend, and I explained what was going on, and he explained to me that you cannot stop the bird from hovering, but you can stop the bird from perching on your head.
Yeah.
So he said to me that thoughts can happen.
Yes.
You can feel what you want to feel.
Yes.
What you do with the feeling is what
Is
matters.
what matters.
So he said to me that, praise, every time you're going out and that thought comes,
Yes.
said, tame it. So and there was a scripture I used that said, taking every thought captive and bringing them to the obedience of Christ.
Yes.
So he said to me, just say to yourself, praise, this is not you. You can't think this thought.
wow.
Right? And I was
Wow.
doing that. In 2 weeks, the thought dried up. It wasn't
Wow.
coming anymore.
Wow.
Right? So you cannot, but in fact that you feel honey is proof that you are okay.
Okay. Guys.
That's new.
I will be
you heard that
worried.
right.
I will be
You heard
worried
that
if you
right.
don't feel anything.
Yeah.
Right? I'll be worried if you don't feel
Yes.
anything, because
Yeah.
then we need to check you out and be sure that something is going on in there.
Yes.
So we're actually okay if we feel horny.
No, you're okay. You are.
Okay.
It's part of
Wow.
your humanity. You are. you are a spirit, you live in the body.
Yeah.
So it's not your spirit that is feeling horny, it's your body that's feeling horny. So you have to understand that.
Okay.
And that's normal.
Yeah.
There's nothing bad with that.
As
Now,
long
what
as you
you
don't
do.
act out.
Now, every sexual urge needs an expression.
Yes.
Now,
Because-
the expression can come
Yeah.
by going to do the urge, talking about the urge, or diverting the urge.
Okay.
Do you know if you feel horny right now and you have a strong accountability partner?
Yeah.
Because I think that's why a lot of Christians fall into this thing. The fact that we don't create an environment where people can be honest.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yes.
Yes.
when I joined this
Yes.
stuff, and I was in the singles fellowship, I have a group of friends, Emmanuel, Frank Bright, Diary, we all used to be in the singles high school. So we created the code because we were upward mobile guys, you
Yes.
know. So we'll say to ourselves, when we met in church, we will not say, how are you? We'll say, how is the red zone?
Okay.
Right? Which means
what's
what
the
we're
red
saying
zone?
is,
What's the red zone?
how is your sex life? That's what we're asking.
wow.
Okay.
Now, if I said to them that I was on green, then I was fine. If
Okay.
I said I was on amber, it meant that my emotion was becoming
Yes,
unstable.
yes.
But if I said I was red, they needed to move me out of my house to their house.
Imagine.
Do you understand?
The EU, right?
So those are things that people, I mean, I believe that a lot of people will not fall if they have that forum where they can express.
Yes.
Because once,
So that's the
if you can
solution.
try, if you feel a sexual urge and you call someone you respect or someone you trust,
Yes.
who is not going to, who is not going to say, oh, I'm
Yes,
also feeling the same, and say, this is the way I'm feeling right now. The urge
Yes.
goes down almost immediately.
Okay.
It goes down.
Guys.
Right?
practice
So
that,
if you can
practice that,
talk
practice
about
that.
it, the urge goes down.
Yeah.
Right?
Talk about
Or you
Talk
can
about
divert
it.
the urge. I mean, this works when I work with people, who are battling with masturbation and all. That you can divert the urge into something else that gives you the same, maybe for lack of a better word, orgasmic feeling
Yes.
that doing it would have given you.
Okay.
Right?
for-
So
like
I
what?
have to find that. So for example, I have
Yeah.
people, I mean, I was working with a medical doctor many years ago
Yes.
who was hooked on masturbation.
Okay.
Now, I found out that by the time when I was doing this session, I realized that every time he danced, he just felt he was masturbating. So
Oh,
I
wow.
had to channel this urge into dancing. So every time in his house, every time he had the urge, he played music and he started dancing. So people, after a while, people started joining him to dance. They didn't know that he was dancing
For another reason.
for another reason, but they
Okay.
joined him. And that was why he was able to break free from masturbation.
Oh,
So it
wow.
kept-
You know,
him in
so
check.
you can divert the urge. It's called
Yes.
diversion therapy,
Diversion.
or you can talk about it. But usually people feel
Yes.
helpless and they go to do it.
Oh.
Yes, many
So
times.
there is nothing wrong with the urge that you feel early. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
It just shows that you're a human being. But what you do
Yeah.
with it is
It's
what now
matters.
matters. Yes.
So you just mentioned masturbation, right?
Yeah.
And we get this question a lot. Most young believers still, it's like, it's masturbation. I'm not out here with someone else.
Yeah.
I'm not with, it's just me. It's
Yeah.
my body. I want you to, like try to break it down because it's looking like, okay, it's masturbation, a sin. I know it's going into legality. And all
I don't
that.
like to go into
Yes.
whether it's a sin or it's not
Yes,
a sin.
yes.
I
Okay.
won't be caught in that.
Yes.
I'm sitting on this table first as a Christian. I'm also sitting as a family life professional.
Yes.
So I have read a number of research. But one thing is certain: whatever you do, that you begins to control you,
Yes.
and you can stop is a problem.
Okay.
Can you say that again, sir?
Whatever you do, right, that you're trying to stop and you can't stop is a problem.
Okay.
Now, in my practice,
Yeah.
I have seen people with masturbation come down with all kinds of other issues. But I've
Okay.
also seen people who didn't come down with those issues. I've seen people with a history of soft erection, weak erection,
Yes.
as a result of prolonged masturbation. But I've
Yeah.
also seen other people who masturbated and that didn't happen. So
Okay.
I will be very honest with you because I know you
Yes.
guys are going to check it out on Google.
Yes.
Then you come back to tell me, But all things are lawful, but not all things are expedient.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
To say, what exactly is the intention? Because motive is everything.
Yes.
So what is the
Okay.
motive? Is the motive of masturbation to discover yourself or to give yourself pleasure that someone else who is having sex is having? What's the motive? That's
Okay.
the question I always ask. And why a lot of people struggle to break free from masturbation is the fact that they don't even know whether it's wrong, right? It's most of the time it's because someone told them.
Yeah.
So they begin to ask themselves, they begin to feel guilty, but they can't stop it.
Okay.
But I always say to people, if you don't masturbate, what will happen to you? Will you die?
No, sir.
You won't die.
No.
And for you to masturbate as well, in most cases, you have to do porn.
Yes.
True.
So what is porn? Right? So you're
Yes,
watching two
yes.
people.
Now we.
Are you in school to learn? Are you going to get married tomorrow? So you are preparing how you're going to have sex with your wife. So you realize that it's not. So the motive for porn is not pure. So the motive for your masturbation cannot be pure.
Cannot be pure.
You know, so I would like to come from that angle to now say,
Yes.
who are you and who do you want to be? Your identity is what is
Matters.
most important
Yes,
here.
yes.
Right? And for me, I did masturbation before. But what I hate about masturbation is that I hate for something to control me. I love to win.
Yes.
I love to be in charge.
Yeah.
Masturbation and porn are jealous lovers. They will
Wow.
get rid of everyone you love,
Yeah.
right, till they win you. And the thing with masturbation is, if you get used to masturbation, you will become conditioned to receiving pleasure from masturbation, that when you get married, your
will
wife
still
will no
have
longer feel that pleasure.
Oh.
After sex, you will still want to go masturbate because
Oh, wow.
there is it's called neuroassociative conditioning.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, sir,
Yeah.
because a lot of people
Yes.
have the notion that, okay, maybe it's prepping me for
Yes.
marriage.
It's not
Or once
prepping
I
you for
get
it.
into marriage,
It's not prepping you for
Once
then
anything.
get
I
into marriage,
slip
then,
out of
The
it.
feeling it gives you is different. Right?
Oh, wow.
When your mind experiences something that is pleasurable, your brain begins to look for, your body begins to look for the source of the pleasure. Once it attracts to masturbation, a
Yes.
neural line is formed from that pleasure to what you did.
So it's separate from
Then
sex.
it longs for repeat performance. The more you do it, you just get a level where you're on autopilot. You do it for needless reasons. You do it when you don't want to do it.
When you
You
don't
know,
want
so
to.
by the time you begin to rationalize it. Now, rationalization is rationalize,
Yeah.
you know, from my point of view, you know,
I
to
like
say
the
it
definition.
makes me sleep.
Yeah.
You know, it makes me relaxed.
Yes.
You know, you are lying to yourself, right? But you are getting addicted.
Yeah.
Then after a while, you try to stop, you can stop it anymore,
Yeah.
then you realize the problem.
Okay.
But because masturbation is one of the most difficult things to break,
wow.
because unlike sex, you need another person. But this one is you,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yes.
and it's not
And you're
something you can
always
readily go
present.
and tell people, I'm masturbating, you know. So it begins to control you,
Yeah.
that it becomes the Lord over your life. I have, in those days, I'll go to Cyber Cafe and I'll see guys come. A guy came to Cyber Cafe one day, brought in a book, Good Morning, Holy Spirit by Benny Hinn.
Yeah.
The guy was watching porn,
I'm waiting for that.
porn, and he masturbated all through overnight browsing. I was like,
Wow.
what's the meaning of this? So what happened was masturbation and porn technically took Good Morning Holy Spirit away from him. Right?
Wow.
So this is something that can totally mess you up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I know some people are listening to me, oh, it has no effect. If it has no effect, I mean, good luck to you.
Yeah.
Right? But when it begins to have effect on you, I mean, I have loads of, I can't share cases because
Yes.
I'm not permitted
Yeah.
to.
Yes.
You know, but
Yes.
I have seen people who have been damaged by addiction to masturbation.
Yeah.
But I've also seen people who say to me, praise, I masturbated for years, I didn't feel any effect. Now that's it's fine. I
Okay.
won't also say,
Just-
no.
Okay.
You know, people are different, and that's why we must be very careful, you know,
Okay.
not to give a blanket. But what's the standard of the Word of God if we're
Yes.
Christians?
Yes.
That's where we need to go into.
Yes.
Right? And what does the Word of God say?
Yeah.
You know, that marriage must be honorable, the bed undefiled.
Of
You know,
course.
so if we stick to the Word of God, again, it's to protect us. Because when you begin to induce masturbation, what you're doing is you are inducing ejaculation, right? And what you're doing is you are training your body to ejaculate, you know. And so after a while, if you have induced and induced and induced, and you now sit down, it's your body that will now begin to induce you and begin to make demands.
Wow.
It's
On
like
its own.
if you're supposed to produce
Yeah.
10 bottles of Coca-Cola, but you're now induced to now be producing, you induce the machine to be producing 30 bottles, right? It will be tough for you to go back to
To 10.
10
Yeah.
because the body is now used to.
Yes, the muscle
So
is now
that's why you meet
Yes.
people say to you, I've met people, I met a guy, his masturbation is such that he does like 11 times every day.
Every day.
Wow.
I've met CEOs who say to you, before they go for meetings, they have to masturbate. I
Wow.
have met people, you know, suspend a meeting in between to go on the recess to
Yes.
go and masturbate. You know, because they just
crazy.
become jittery and they
Yes.
become anxiety sets in.
That's
And
serious.
so it's like the feeling cigarette gives you.
So
You
it
know,
literally
Nicotine,
controls
I,
your
yes.
life.
I
Yes.
smoked before. And why did I smoke? We won an election in school that was rigged in my
Yes.
year one. 9 boys in my room were smoking. I was 11 of us. And so they told me, I felt very bad. You know, that how could they have rigged this election? And they told me, if you smoke, you're going to be fine.
better.
I was better. I felt better. It calmed me down. It was just that after about 2 hours, I needed another step.
Oh, wow.
And that was how I started. So that's the same way masturbation is. You know, it will give you that momentary feeling. You will sleep. But when you wake up, you will need another one. So it becomes like a shot that you take. And at that, it takes control of your life. And you cannot serve God and mammon. So who is in charge of your life? That's where the question is. Right? So are you pornified or, you know, spirit-led?
Yes.
So that's the question you need to ask yourself. You know, so if you look at it from that perspective, you take it a bit higher than right, wrong, to say, who am I?
Yes.
Who do I want to be? And who is in control
in charge? Yes.
over my life?
Oh, wow. Thanks. All right. So, guys, Funto, if you like, she's on her way, but you know, this is Lagos, and there's traffic in Lagos. So she's caught up in the traffic, but we're hoping that she'll join us before the end of the show. So for that, that's the reason why, you know, she's not here. And we'll definitely be diving into some of the questions and some of the areas she's supposed to handle. So, sir, I just want to talk, since we're on this line, I want to talk about I want us to talk about sexual compatibility. Like, we get this a lot as a believer. So you say, yeah, I'm keeping myself to marriage. And then the question comes, what if you and your partner are not compatible when you get married?
What do you mean compatibility?
Now let me add to that. It's more like, or it could be associated with, you know, testing the waters before marriage.
Yes,
to
to
see,
know if it.
So you hear things. I hear you.
Yes,
so you hear things like, how can you buy a product you have not tested? But what they never say is that brand new products don't need testing because it comes warranty.
Oh, write that down.
They never tell you that.
Write it down.
Right? So you can test fairly used. If it's brand new, it doesn't need testing.
Yes.
Because the warranty covers it for 2 years. If you bought a new phone and it's original Samsung, they tell you if anything happens in 2 years, bring it back.
Let me tell you, return if sealed.
Yeah.
If unsealed.
Yeah, I mean, so it's that simple. Then we forget that if the two of you have never had experience, then you have the opportunity to teach each other. The two of you don't know about sexual compatibility. It's the people who have tested the waters who are now looking for sexual compatibility. And truth is, sex can be taught. It can be learned. As a matter of fact, what many people call sex is not sex because they learn sex the wrong way.
Oh, wow.
If you learn sex from porn, it's not love making you're doing, right? Because it shows lack of respect for your partner.
Wow.
You don't understand. So the best sex is giving pleasure to your partner, and in giving. So it's not the pounding you see in porn. They say, hey, 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 hey. That's not sex.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like order taking. You want to ask your partner, what do you want? Right? You don't serve the meal that you want to serve. You serve the meal that your spouse wants. Right? And when you're doing it, you want to ask, am I doing it well? Then you take report card after. Right? So if the two of you are really in love, you will be willing to learn anything. So it's the people who want to pervert sex that are coming up with all this kind of thing. We need to test. But you realize that they never test spiritual compatibility.
I wonder why.
They never test financial compatibility.
Yes.
So you see this guy who is still struggling to buy recharge card, but he wants to test sexual compatibility, right? And you're wondering, guy, can we talk about your financial compatibility? You can't even buy sanitary towel. You can't buy Pampers, but you want to test sexual compatibility. Excuse me.
Shots fired.
So sometimes they even go to the girls. They go to the girls and say to the girls, you know, you need to prove your love to me by having sex with me. And I'm asking. So the ladies also must learn to make demands. Right? Why should I be the one to prove my love by sleeping with you? You should prove your love by walking naked for me to prove your love. You know, ladies must learn to make demands. You know, because we always think that something is wrong with you if no guy is asking you, or nothing is wrong with you. You can actually fulfill purpose without any of these things. You know, so at the end of the day, you want to ask yourself, you want to be tested? Are you a specimen in the experimental lab? Because the specimen never survives. And that's why consistently the ladies are tested. So I was in a conference many years ago, and a professor from, I think, the US actually postulated this theory to say that why people need to test themselves is because for you to get the best restaurant in town, this was exactly his words. He says, you don't eat in one restaurant and now say that's the best restaurant. That you need to sample various restaurants to find the best restaurant. Right? So he said the same way, you don't sleep with a girl and you say that's the best girl. You need to test several girls, you know, with, so everybody clapped. So I raised my hands. So they asked me to ask him. So I said, sir,
Yeah.
fantastic postulation, but I want to ask, are you married? He said, yes. You have children? He said, yes. How many children? He said, 2 girls. I said, can I organize 11 guys to test run your daughters?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Then
I hope he said yes.
We didn't
the
see
guy
that
was
coming.
upset. They said,
Yes, of
and the
course.
organizers were upset. They said,
Of
I
course.
insulted you. So I said,
Yes,
no,
no.
I didn't insult him. I'm only serving him the meal. He just served them.
Yes.
You know, then the guy was upset to say, where did he get me from? And blah, 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 blah. You know, so everybody wants to test everybody, but nobody wants their daughters to be
To be
tested.
tested.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Word,
it's
word,
not something that is valid. If you respect the other person, you
Yes.
know, you will be willing to learn. You will be willing to understand, you know, and there are psychometry that can test your libidinal level,
Yeah.
that can test, you know, it can be moderated. I moderate this discussion all the time.
Of course.
That's why when you talk about, can you feel honey,
Yeah.
right? So when I check the frequency of your honey, I can tell that, okay, this is the frequency. You can discuss it. You know,
Okay.
how often do you want sex in marriage? So if you're seeing someone, for example,
Yeah.
and you say, how often do you want sex? And when we get married, and the guy says, or the babe says to you, maybe once in 1 month, too, and you want it every other day.
Okay, so sir, based on what you just mentioned, we have a
Yes.
question in that line. So
Yes.
it's is it okay to talk or discuss sex with my boyfriend or girlfriend? And then if yes, what are the things we can talk about?
When you say boyfriend or girlfriend, you need to define that
Okay,
again.
why dating?
While dating.
Yeah, while dating.
Why not? Well, again, dating is specialized friendship.
Okay.
This one is going to be interesting.
Yes,
So
we-
if dating
we-
is specialized friendship, the syllabus of dating does not cover what you're talking about.
Okay.
Okay.
If we move it a bit further into courtship,
Courtship.
then we can begin to talk about that.
Okay.
Because courtship is the last stage before marriage.
So,
Right?
sir, I want you to still like give us. I know you just mentioned this, right? We want you to break down this dating phase. We want to understand. the
Dating
difference
is
between-
basically
yes,
dating, and that's why
courtship. Yeah.
you can date as many people as possible. Because there's no string attached, there are no rules. It's specialized friendship, right? It's
Or you
basically,
can date as me.
oh yeah, it's
Okay,
not.
okay,
dating,
I guess-
dating is not courtship. Dating is, I mean, we can do group dating. I can take like 10 of us, go to the beach.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
it's specialized friendship. It's just that people have bastardized it, and they say,
Interesting.
how can you be dating this? Dating is, the rule in dating is interview and getting to know. I want to know you. What do you like? What don't you like?
So
like
when does it become exclusive? Like
Exactly.
so that's when you now, okay, you've now, from every of your choices, you have now
Yes.
narrowed down on one, right? To now say, this is the person I think I am most comfortable with.
okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
And so at that point is
Yes.
courtship,
okay.
Okay.
right? And when you get in the courtship, it now means that you are no longer a stranger to the parents. They know you, right? So at that level, you can now begin to talk about, so how have you had sex before? If you have not had sex before, do you have feelings? You know, how often would you want it in marriage? And that's usually moderated if you have a counselor or if you have someone who is working with you.
So it's advised to have someone working with you.
Oh yeah, I mean, I work with a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, so because that will help you. There are so many things. I mean, that is never taught. So there is something we call user's manual creation. User's manual is a document that the two of you answer
Yeah.
that shows everything about you, how you get angry, how you recover from anger. I mean, too many things to be discussed. That's why we say
Wow.
courtship is a period for interview, not a period for intercourse. The moment you introduce intercourse,
Yes.
interviews is like you begin to lower the volume of the mic
Yes.
till you turn it off.
Wow.
And the only thing you begin to do is to sleep with yourself. Then one day you just get, I don't like her anymore because, of course,
Yeah.
there is nothing else to look forward to.
Yeah.
You
Okay, sir. So I think I want us to clarify
Yes.
the point where we're talking about the dating, you know, because you mentioned, I know some people on the internet are gonna be like, oh, he
Yes.
said we can have more than one person we're dating,
Yeah.
because you know, I
Depending
think
on the rules, that's why definition of terms
Yes.
is very
important.
key.
It's
Yes, I was going to
important.
say that.
I worked with a lady who said a guy raped her. Her boyfriend raped her. And I said, boyfriend raped you? The guy said, I didn't rape her. So I said, what happened? The guy
Yes.
said, when we met, she said we can be making love. But the girl said, I told you we can make love, but we can't have sex.
Okay, what's the
Okay.
difference?
I had to ask.
What's the difference?
So what's the difference? She
Yeah.
said making love is we can grind, we can smooch, but we must not penetrate.
Okay.
But the guy making love to the guy is
Interesting.
penetration.
Yes.
So
Interesting.
definition of terms
Definition of
was
terms.
what's happening there, right? So what people need to understand is if we
Yes.
sit down and say, what is dating?
Yes,
If
sir.
dating to me is, once I'm dating you, I date no other person, right? Is that your definition? If that's my definition, then that's
we
fine.
agree.
So-
But if we come together and say, okay, dating is specialized friendship, I'm free to make friends with as many people as possible and get to know them,
Yes.
right? Because you can't zone me out of, it's like I have started dating you from secondary school. Now I'm in the university. I now have more people, but I've tied myself down.
Yes.
I cannot leave you. That's what people call dating. Then I leave university, I go for master's class. And I see people, meanwhile, you have not left secondary school. Right? Intellectually, we are no longer, I'm now dating you, I'm now dating you. And we are no longer compatible. In fact, that's unequal yoke.
Okay. We
Brings
have
us
to go,
to that
yeah, we have to go
question.
there, right? We have to go there. But I still want us to stay here because it's interesting. The general definition of dating,
Yeah.
we've had people say, he's cheating on me,
Yeah.
you're talking with someone else. So now we're defining dating
Yeah.
as specialized
Yeah.
friendship.
Friendship.
It can
But
become
in the
cheating
context- in
if
this
we
context.
have agreed. That
Okay.
it's just the two of us, and that's our definition of dating.
Okay, so-
and it's mutually agreed that it's just the two of us, and we don't.
So at the point of dating, you don't necessarily need to have like marriage in sight.
No, you don't have to have marriage inside. It's specialized friendship. That's why dating
Yes.
sites, you have different dating sites. They go for dating. They go for the first session. That's the way dating sites work. You go
Yes.
for the first session and you realize, what I thought I saw is not what I'm seeing. That's the end of, you're not going again. You understand?
Yes.
You're not going again. There's no heartbreak. There's nothing. We met, everybody pay for your meal,
Yes.
so there's no heartbreak. Right? It's you say,
Yes.
people become emotionally invested in what they have not tried, what they have not analyzed. Right? So I run an assessment for people.
Yes.
So you want to get married. I run an assessment. The assessment is 94% accurate. It will show everything, including their childhood, including the patterns in their life that will sabotage whatever they're doing.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Wow.
And based on that result, they can actually look at the result and say, we are not meant for each other.
Wow.
Because the two of you can be speaking in tongues and you still be on equal yoke.
Yes.
Yes, that's one of our questions.
Do you understand?
too.
So
Yes.
people don't understand this. And so when, in fact, I advocate for, if you say I love you, what does love mean to you? I want to know. So that I'm not assuming.
Yes.
Because people assume a lot of things. And when the guy now acts out based on his meaning, now say the guy broke my heart.
So, sir, what's your meaning?
Of
Love.
Of love.
love.
Yes, of love.
Love for me is a
Yes.
decision that is built on the commitment
Guys, take note.
to
Take
add
note.
value to someone else without expecting a thank you.
Without expecting
A
a
thank you
So it
of
must.
any
So
kind.
it must
Love
not
to me
be
is not,
reciprocated.
it's not symbiotic because you will reap what you sow, not necessarily where you sowed it. Every time you
Okay.
try to reap what you sow from where you sow it, you will manipulate people.
Wow.
I will do
This-
it because
this
you
is-
deserve it
this
and
is
because you
new.
are a human being.
Huh.
I'll do it. I don't expect you to do anything, to give me anything back. So I have no expectation of a thank you from you.
Wow.
So I'm going to cook in my home. I'm going to fix meals,
Yes.
not because my wife is a cook or something, she deserves to eat. Family
Yes.
needs to eat. I'm going to do it. So she doesn't have to do it back to me, because once it becomes yin and yang, it begins to, people destroy their lives.
Yeah.
Right? So whatever I cannot give, I'm not going to give it. Right? So if I look at you and I realize there's books, I'm going to give you the books. Not because, because the love that we teach
Yeah.
or that people practice, if I knew that you were going to become my wife later, I can buy you a car because I know the car is coming back to me.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
calculating.
That's the one
so
we
the
practice.
day, and because I've given you that car, if you see any reason
Yes.
why you shouldn't go along with me, you become emotional. And he has bought me a
Yeah.
car. Even your friends now say, he has bought you a car.
Exactly.
No. If I now
So,
say I'm not going
you should be able
anymore,
to take the car.
I'm not saying I'm not doing anymore. You now begin to say, but I bought you a car. Yeah, give me back my car. So you now see people fight themselves dirty
Yeah.
on social media because they don't understand love. Christ commanded his love towards us that while we were yet misbehaving, he died. He didn't die because we were good. We were misbehaving when he died.
Yes.
Right? And that's 1 Corinthians 13. So it's not a feeling. Oh, I feel. You get married. Sometimes you don't feel anything. But
Okay.
what's your
Really?
decision? What's your commitment? Are you
decision.
interested or you are committed?
Yes.
What value are you adding? So when people are trying to check, does he love me? I mean, I've seen too many ladies,
Yes.
you know, I want to know a guy that loves, so I ask them what is love. They don't know. So anybody that gives you what looks like love, you will take it. So what you are checking in love is actually, is it value adding? What value is this guy adding? So if I say to you, you love me, and I say to you, I'm not going to have sex with you, would you still love me? Because if you love me, you respect my decision.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't respect my decision, then you don't love me.
So
If you're now beginning to put pressure on me
Yes.
and blackmail me, you don't love me.
so I
In
know-
fact, if you truly love me, you will let me go if I want to go.
Exactly.
I know some of the audience will now be asking, where do we place these feelings? Like how, especially for the ladies. you're
Your
saying,
feeling is
like the
not
feelings,
a
like,
true
do I feel
reflection
this
of
person?
what you want. Feeling is not bad, it's valid.
Yes.
Yeah.
But your feeling is not the true expression of you.
Of what you
Feeling is not, you can't depend on feelings. Watch a football match. Nigeria is playing. They are playing well. Hey, hey, hey. They play badly. The same audience within 5 minutes. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That's feeling.
Okay.
You zone in, then you zone out.
This is interesting.
That's feeling. But a time comes feeling will fail.
Yes.
Commitment.
Will be
Decision.
What will keep you.
Arsenal is not playing well.
No.
They are going towards relegation.
Yes.
Right? I don't feel them anymore. But I'm committed. I would rather die.
So that's when you love them.
Yeah, I'm not an Arsenal fan. I don't know how Arsenal people they
I
are.
think they are
You know,
okay.
but,
You have to go there.
you know, I support Man U anyway.
I do not intend to.
Yes.
Do you understand? So I don't feel it. Right? I can't even feel the coach.
Yes, but,
But
it's still.
this is my, and if people, so when people say they can't be faithful, it's not true. They are
Yeah.
faithful to their football clubs. The
That's
capacity
They
to
are.
be faithful is there.
They
And they are
are.
faithful not because of feeling, it's a decision they have taken. Right? And so when people say, I want to divorce, but they have not divorced Arsenal. Arsenal has not won anything.
Like Arsenal is on this stage.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that's feeling. Feeling is
Okay.
it's not consistent. That's what I mean,
Yeah.
you can hate me at this moment. I mean,
Yes.
I'm sure you've met people that, you met a guy or a babe, and you look at, and you don't,
Yes.
first glance, you don't feel anything.
Yes.
That in fact, you even say, what kind of people would date this person? Then you begin to relate with the person. Then you begin
And
to say to
then,
yourself,
yes.
it's not looking bad. It's not looking, the same you that say, this ugly mutete. Then all of a sudden you say, wow, he's so handsome. Feelings changed.
Yeah.
Because feeling is subject to meaning. The meaning you give something is what determines your feeling.
Wow.
Right? So if
Wow.
you can manage your meaning,
Yes.
you can manage your feelings.
You can manage your feelings.
And so sometimes the feeling is not there. You know, it's like when people want to feel God, they feel goose pimples. So
Yes.
when goose pimples is not there,
It's not there.
They're
but
not-
God is always there. Whether you feel goose people, you don't feel anything, is there. Do you understand? So that's what people need to understand. However,
Yes.
the other side to it is this. If you don't now feel anything for the person, it's also a red flag.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't have any
Yeah.
chemistry. Lack of chemistry is a red flag.
It's a red flag.
It's a red flag. You need to check it because it's also saying something to you.
Okay, so can we quickly define chemistry, or can we give examples of how
Yes. To
you should
check
feel?
for this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm around you and I feel very distant. In fact, reluctantly, I come to be with you. I'm with you and I'm in a hurry to, you know, if you understand the chemistry,
Yeah.
chemistry is, the best way to describe it is, when two people meet and they are just saying, I love you, 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 and 2 hours is gone. The fact that you can stand yourself for 2 hours saying rubbish, that doesn't make sense to the two of you.
That's
Chemistry.
good. Good chemistry.
Do you understand?
Good chemistry, guys.
And that we have clear understanding of ourselves,
Yeah.
you know, because then you now need to begin to grow it, where you have clear understanding of yourself to say,
Yes.
yeah, this is what this person would do in this situation, you know, but it does not affect whatever we feel for each other. Yeah.
Is chemistry, or can feeling butterflies in your tummy be chemistry?
It can be introduction to chemistry, you know.
Okay.
Butterflies that's a signal that sends you something.
Okay.
But I mean, then next minute, what happens? Right? If every time you
Every
feel,
time.
see the person, you feel
Yes.
that butterfly, then
Yes.
chemistry is coming in.
So attraction. Let's talk attraction
Yeah.
now. Do we classify attraction under feelings?
Yeah, because what you see
Yeah.
is based on a definition,
Okay.
right? Like I said again, the meaning
Yes.
defines your feelings,
Yes.
right? And sometimes it's not as if you even define, you gave it the meaning, anything, but you just have a spec, right? For example, some people are never attracted to ladies that are slim. Some are never attracted to guys who are fat,
Yes.
right? I mean, you can't blame them. Everybody has got their spec,
Yes.
Yes.
we
right?
do.
So, and some people just have a certain spec that once that spec shows up, you know, hey, this person can put me in trouble. You know,
Yes.
this is just my spec. You know, and when you see that spec,
Yes, sir.
you develop attraction. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that
When you have feelings for someone, and then maybe over time, maybe 2 years apart from the person, you're like, how did I even like you?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, so again, you know, there is the dimension called the love languages.
Yes.
That the person that speaks your love language, you're likely going to bond with that person.
Yeah.
Whether it's ugly or it's not ugly. Once you
Yes.
speak your love language,
You will
right, and it
bond.
can meet your emotional bank account, it can deposit, you can bond with that person as well.
Yeah. So, sir, we want to take this to, like, talking about being single, right?
Yeah.
So, not like before marriage. Sorry. How do we develop intimacy with our partners at the now that we've defined the state of courtship without
Without.
sex?
Intimate,
possible?
very possible.
Is it possible?
Very possible.
Oh, wow.
What is intimacy? Intimacy. That I can read through you. And that's why we created the user's manual tool that
Yes.
you can use to actually read your partner.
Wow.
Because you are the one that will fill your user's manual by yourself.
Oh.
You know, it contains your name, your shape, your fantasies. It contains what gets you angry.
Yes.
It contains how you recover from anger. It contains you are answering questions. What are the qualities you have? What are the things you have? What are the talents you have? What are the things you will not take? What are your deal breakers? It contains everything. What kind of person do you want? As a matter of fact, you can create your user's manual and I'll look at it and I'll say, no, I don't think I'm the man for you.
Wow.
Is that powerful?
Wow.
You know, so it's intimacy is not kissing, pecking, necking, and kissing. It's to say I know you too well. You know,
Yeah.
I can see into you, and I respect what I see, and I love it, and I accept it, without wishing that you were someone else.
Wow.
That's intimacy,
Wow.
right? And
Wow.
you can,
Yeah.
I mean, if you feel tempted, temptation is not. It's also a proof that you guys
Yeah, all right.
have chemistry.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It's proof. It's proof. If you don't feel tempted by the person you are dealing with, then
Yes.
something else is a red flag for me.
Yes.
You know, but how do you now handle it? So there are ground rules that you now need to put in place.
Are you guys still with us?
For example, I mean, you know your history. You know what you have tendency for.
Yes.
Right? So you might say, okay, you know what? We're not going to do sleepovers. When it's just
Okay.
the two of us.
So-
We're not going to do
so
sleepovers.
these
If
are
there's-
boundaries,
ev-
yeah.
So you set the boundaries.
Okay.
Right? They say we don't want to have sex based on the word of God. So these are the things we'll never do. Right? And whatever we need to do, it has to be public.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So when you set that boundaries, then you are committed to what you truly want.
Okay, sir, hold that thought, sir. So, for viewers out there, if you're asking a question at the moment of how do I ensure that I don't have sex in my relationship, I think this is something you should pay attention to. I just want to call
Yes.
our
Call your
attention to that.
Yes.
So, if you're struggling with having sex in your relationship and you want to stop, these are the things you should pay attention to. So, please go ahead, sir.
So you need to set the boundaries.
Set boundaries.
And you need to be clear, why don't you want to have sex before marriage? It has to be clear. You guys have to
Why?
talk
Why?
about it.
The why.
Right? And you know, when you have accountability, it's easy.
Accountability.
Sure.
Because,
that.
your accountability coach
Okay.
or
Coach.
partner
Okay.
is going to ask you questions.
Okay.
And you don't lie to your accountability coaches.
Yes.
Right. So
Yes.
and so when people know that they have a reporting line, they are not likely to going to misbehave.
True.
It's
Okay.
when there is nobody to report to,
Watch you.
then the two of us can be compromising, and before we know it, we begin to talk about other things.
Yes.
Do you understand? And so, oftentimes, and I'm going to say this carefully,
Yes, sir.
when people say to me, a lot of ladies talk about heartbreak. So I had to do a survey, or people talk to me about heartbreaks. And I realized that a heartbreak is the extra they have given that they shouldn't have given
Wow.
in the relationship.
Wow.
The extra that they shouldn't have given, that they have given.
Yeah.
That's
They have invested things that they shouldn't have given.
Wow.
Right? And that's when they talk about, so it's the pain of what I've given. You know, I shouldn't have given myself at this
Yes.
stage.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
so what is my gain in all of this? Right? I came to his house, I washed his house, I washed his clothes, I cooked for him, I gave my body, and this is what I get. And he's still cheating on me. And that's why no woman in history has been able to keep a man through sex. So don't get it twisted.
Whoa.
So you cannot
Insight,
keep a
right?
man
No,
through
because
sex.
that's what people say. It's one of the errors, you know. And you see people selling all kinds of stuff online. You know, you need to keep your man through. If he still wants to go out, he will
He
go out.
will.
It will go
Wow.
out. It will go out.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
and what I say to people that sometimes, not in all cases, the fact that people can't keep their hands to themselves is
Yes.
also communicating something. That maybe I lack self-control.
Yeah.
Or maybe there is a pain in my life and sex has become a language. Right? So such people need help. You know, so we need to understand how these things work. And that's why I don't like blanket, because I love to, as a family life practitioner, I love
Yes.
case-by-case
Yes.
analysis, because people's cases are different from each
Yes.
one another, you know.
Yeah,
So, but what do you want? Because let me tell you this, preparing for marriage is tough.
Yes, sir.
People prepare for wedding, they don't prepare for marriage. And that lack of preparation was destroys their marriage. Because you want to, it's like creating a new nation. You have to create your family vision, you have to create your family values, you have to create the DNA creed,
Lot
you
of
have to
work.
create
Yes.
your family constitution, you have to simulate, you have to talk about how to handle in-laws, how to handle outlaws, how to,
Yes.
I mean, it's a lot of work
Feel you.
that by the time you begin to introduce sex, I mean, I can tell you how I did my courtship. You know, we spent a whole lot meeting people, researching, asking questions, and doing all kinds of things.
Yes.
You know, so it's a lot of work.
Yes, sir.
So if people understand that marriage is not that event where you just dance around, you have groomsmen
Yes,
and all.
and
Marriage will show, I mean, the true test of who you are. Character
Yes.
is, because I tell people only dead people can get married successfully. You have to be dead to your ego, dead to what you
Yeah.
think you're right. And even the new rules of marriage is not the old rules.
It's not the old rules.
Wow.
Because the ladies of the future are not cooks.
What,
So how are you gonna cope?
What,
I
yeah.
stand in line.
So
Yeah.
you as a guy, if you can't cook for yourself, you're going to have trouble in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
You know, because the ladies who
This is
are
interesting.
coming to marry, they are coming to cook. They are no longer there.
Yeah. All right. So, sir, we have just one last question,
Yeah.
and then our
We have
time,
not talked about the unequal yoke.
our
remember?
time is up. Yes, that's where we're going to. That's because what we want to understand now is how can two believers be unequally yoked?
Okay, so that scripture
Yes.
says, do not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers.
Yes.
sir.
Now, whenever we quote that scripture, we assume the unbeliever is someone of a different religion.
Yes.
That's not true.
Yes. Okay.
Unbeliever is an English word that means someone that doesn't believe what you believe.
What?
Okay.
So,
Okay.
the two of you want to get married. Let's say you're in a relationship.
Yes.
She believes that everybody should cook. You believe only women should cook.
Serious.
You are an unbeliever to her.
You're an unbeliever.
But there is
Guys,
another
this is new.
lady
This is new. This
who
is new.
believes that only a woman should cook. That is your believer.
Yes. Oh.
Okay.
Now you believe that everybody should work and bring in money. Our money is our money. She believes my money is my money. Your money is our money.
Our
She's an unbeliever to you.
See-
That's unequal yoke.
That's unequal yoke.
So that's
Wow.
what. So beliefs compatibility is even more is key than sexual compatibility.
What? Take note. Take
Because
note, guys. This is
can two work together except they agree?
jot it.
So that's where the real problem
That's-
is,
that's
and
the
that's what is
only-
killing marriages. So when people have troubled marriages, I bring them to my office
Yes.
and we run a beliefs assessment, and they fail. The two
Wow.
of them are unequal yoke, but they both speak in tongues.
Ah.
So
Wow.
you can speak in tongues.
And be
And be unequal
Be
yoke.
unequally yoked.
because
Unequal
the
yoke doesn't
belief-
mean you are
yes,
bad.
Yes. It's
It
just
just
the
means
belief.
that I'm not the type of lady for you,
For you.
right? So I'm a lady. I want to travel with the world. I want to be Secretary General to United Nations.
Yes.
That's what I want to be. So I've trained myself into Harvard, but you are looking for a lady who's going to cook breakfast, cook lunch. I'm not the lady for you.
Wow.
So that's why we say your vibe determines your tribe. You now need to begin to look for
Vibe
your tribe.
determines
You
your
may be
tribe.
an Igbo girl, but Igbo may not be your tribe. Your tribe may be in Japan. Men
Yes.
who understand what you are thinking about, those may
Yes.
be the people you need to connect with.
Wow. This is profound. This
And this is the issue that people have.
wow.
So you see, you can be a first world lady in a third world continent, and you can even be a third world man in a first world continent. So you have unequal yoke is where first world now begins to marry third world. They'll first begin to have problems with language. So everything she says, so she talks to him and say, oh, so why are you doing that? And say, how dare you question me? Because the system that brought him up, that's why we say that marriage is the coming together of a man and a woman from two different nations to create a new nation that will promote the best interest of all and whose culture will give our world rest. So the family that produced you is a country. The family that produced him is the country. So you want to check what's the culture of the family that produced him. Maybe they are third world. In his family, daddy's word is fine now. Nobody questions him. He's the lion of the tribe of the home. In your family, maybe that is on first name basis. Daddy cooks. That's unequal yoke.
Wow. Wow. So, sir,
fantastic.
Just another question that came in. This is from the audience. They're saying, the audience was, the person was asking, he says, this specialized friendship zone, can we have sex? Like in the context of, you know, we understand
the rule
as
of
believers,
friendship, the rule of friendship, sex is not in the syllabus of friendship. So, except you have now created friends with benefits, and that's not Bible. That's you. So whatever happens to you in that relationship is your ball of, is your kettle. That's outside the scope of God.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. No, we really, sir, like, we've been mind blown. Like,
thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, like,
I've enjoyed myself.
Like, I wish I was taking notes. So, at this point, we're rounding up, and guys, you see how today went, right? Oh, wow.
Fantastic.
So, Funto just came in to the building, and yeah, thanks to Lagos traffic, she met us. She met us, but well, hopefully we still. Yes, hopefully she'll just come in and just say a few things, you know, just
to you guys.
Yeah, just say a few things to you guys very quickly. Yeah, don't blame us. It's the traffic. Blame the traffic. Yeah. So that's very soon she'll be joining us. But while we're waiting for her to come in, she's still coming in. Remember, like, I don't even need to tell you to be here tomorrow. Like, I don't need to tell you. Your notes are already speaking.
We're having a very
Praise, I wish I had you all day, right? Because in my mind, I was just taking notes. I was like, so you don't want to miss tomorrow because we're having our mama.
Pasanike,
yes, tomorrow, same time. So don't come late. No, don't log in. If I were you, I'll log in before 6.
I'm actually excited that we have 2 days to talk about these things because these things are quite elaborate and we can't finish up in an hour.
Yes,
you know?
at all. So call your friends. Call your friends. Is that your friend that is always asking you relationship questions and you can't answer? Yeah. Bring the person
for the believers, they need to understand that the rules that govern you is different from the rules that govern everyone.
Yes, sure.
You know, so you don't have to feel bad that you are different from the rest of the people. You know, because your rules of engagement are different.
Welcome.
Somebody just came in.
Yes.
I apologize.
Good evening, ma'am. We're so glad to have you.
Yeah, we're so glad to have you.
So everybody, this is Mrs. Funto Iboye, and today she's meant to actually talk to us about managing seasons in relationships, with friendship and marriage.
So you just give us, we know you came loaded, but right now, just compress it.
All right, thank you guys for having me, and I apologize for being late. No thanks to Lagos traffic.
Yeah.
Okay, so talking about seasons in relationship, I think that to compress all the things that are right. So I'll just say that. Let me start with friendship. So just like how there's this newness that comes with everything new. So when you start a new friendship, there's this old butterflies in your tummy. You want to talk to the person every time. You want to hang out every time. So that's like the season of spring. This is relating it to normal weather. So spring is things are springing up newly. So you want to always be with this friend. You're calling. You want to tell them your secrets. And same thing with exclusive relationships as well. So there's all that butterfly in the tummy. You guys want to go to the movies every time. You want to talk on phone. So I remember when I started my own relationship with my husband, we were doing MTN Cool.